Greetings, folks. Nice to see you again. My name is Dustin Cormier. Welcome to Erotic Astrology. Today we are going to talk about what it's like when you have the Sun in Cancer and Mars in Virgo. To hear a little bit more about me and see what I'm about, visit dustincormier.net, where you can check out my psychedelic erotic poetry book. And here's a little picture of the building blocks, the main blocks of my chart, just so you can get a sense of who's giving you the info. So, welcome. It's always a pleasure to see you, folks. Yes, let's talk about Sun in Cancer, Mars in Virgo. I like to do these videos from the sense that, I'm a Vedic astrologer, and I try to bring as much of the Vedic gnosis of astrology as I can in talking about any combination, anything that I talk about, to Westerners. So if you're a Westerner, I invite you to consider what I talk about, but it's based in a Western framework. Western is my basis for astrology. I went into the Vedic and saw the depth and richness of it, and I'm trying to always show both what both are missing. It's something I like to do. So, here we have Sun in Cancer with Mars in Virgo. If you want to hear a big chunk of what Mars in Virgo is all about, you can check out the video at the start of the series. A big part of the gist is that, Mars in Virgo is not the best place for what Mars is, and what Mars represents. Mars, at its best, is meant to be a reliable, consistent, every moment, vital energy through which the Sun can express what its desires are for its career, for its life, for its spirit, for what it wants to project in every moment in itself. If you don't have the energy to, then it's going to be hard to project that outward. Mars in Virgo, Mars is an energy that you got to cultivate. It's musculoskeletal motor functions. It's kind of like your muscles, and you've got to go to the gym and constantly cultivate your muscles if you want them to be, if you want to be teeming with testosterone. I think that's for all sexes. To be teeming with endorphin flushes, and when your endorphins get flushed, it causes you to feel satisfied with how you've expressed your energy, and it draws you to use more energy. Mars in Virgo tends to miss a lot of this stuff. Although they can love the gym. They can love a little routine that keeps them going at the gym. But if they lose the inspiration for that, it's hard for them to know how to change that rhythm and pattern. Or it's hard for them to feel the instinct that they should. And if they get bored of that, they might do the gym thing for a long time and say, okay, well, now I'm going to put my energy somewhere else. And then they can lose this constant, it's like they think through their minds what they think would be the best placement for their vital energies. And they often lose the sense of, it's like they have to be energized by feeling like there's a good, solid plan going on with their energy. This is the type of person who, like Mars at its best, will wake up in the morning and feel like, I just want to just do some yoga and just do some forward bends and roll my back out, and my body is telling me to do these things, so I'm just going to do it. Mars in Virgo is the person who says, I know that it's good to exercise, and so I'm going to make a plan to exercise. And then when life throws them a curveball and says, you got to see, your grandpa just decided to come and visit you, you'll get frustrated because it's like, damn it, grandpa, don't you know that I go and do my squats on Thursdays? And then when they lose that, or if they want to bring in something else into their lives, then they'll lose the plan that they thought would be perfect for their physical gym exercise. So because of all these sorts of things, Mars in Virgo can lose their rhythm of keeping themselves virile and visceral. For the Sun in Cancer, we have a person who, I guess I should say, sorry, I should clarify that Mars in Virgo is doubly debilitated because it's in close proximity to Cancer. And that makes Cancer has a summer solstice vibe. It's very hot, and it's a hot, muscular, mental place. Mars in Virgo is in very close proximity to Cancer. It's still a hot placement. It's a lot of nervous energy, and this disseminates and sort of dissolves what would be a cultivated sense of what is a good warrior expression, constant expression, and reliable expression of what the sun wants. That's why Mars does not do so well in Virgo. Number one, it's close to Cancer. It's a hot placement. Number two, because Mars doesn't, it just doesn't do well with Mercury. This is an even worse place. Even though Mars in Leo is closer to Cancer, which means it's even hotter, Mars in Leo is at least a hot, the right kind of hot, because Leo is ruled by the sun, and Mars is good friends with the sun. That's why it does okay in Leo. When Mars is in Virgo, it's very close to its debilitation point, and it's in the sign of Mercury, who is not a good friend to Mars. Mars likes to cultivate a sense of warriorship and an internal consistency of what invigorates it, what makes it feel good and vital. Where Mercury looks at the immediate situation and says, I've got to blend my body to fit my reality, and reality is always changing. So they lose, because they're always altering their rhythms, their patterns, their discipline. They lose the sense of discipline over time, and they have a hard time coming to grips with how they can keep a strong channel for their energy. Now, with the sun in Cancer here, this is an adaptive personality who does like to stick to familiar patterns and things, but it's coming from the sun. The sun is the long view of inspiration. The sun in Cancer here probably enjoys partners and people and relationships that come at a sentimental soul closeness. The sun in Cancer loves spending time together, cuddling up to friends and to lovers and family who remind them of the bliss of their childhood and the innocence, but also who give them the space to do their own little job that they do in the world. This person in their job and in their career will probably find a little niche for themselves that they're talented at. Sun in Cancer can be talented. It's dramatic and knows a lot about human consciousness. This can make for a good psychologist too, because the Cancer has an intuition of what makes people tick, what makes their partners tick, what makes themselves be goaded to doing what it wants. And the Mars in Virgo says, I'm starting to see through this plot graph familiar patterns, right? The only problem is if the Mars in Virgo sticks to what it thinks is a pattern when it's really not. The sun in Cancer is good at feeling out these patterns, but people change, things change. And the Mars in Virgo is a little too grippy on trying to keep things familiar, especially because that's what the sun in Cancer desires. And at worst, it can be the sun deeply desiring familiarity and emotional closeness. And using Mars in Virgo, Mars is for the purpose of the sun. Mars gets what the sun wants for everybody's chart. And the sun in Cancer wants a familiar, close feeling of shared values and soul sentiment. And Mars in Virgo likes to have a sense of the partner's patterns. So when the sun in Cancer thinks, oh, I've found something that this person loves. This person, I heard that you said you like Italian food. Well, I'm going to find out all the Italian shops and I'm going to press your face into it because I love you so much. And then they find that the partner gets sick of Italian food, and then this is what frustrates Mars in Virgo. But you said you did. This was my perfect plan for loving you. I wanted the sun in Cancer. I just wanted to give you all my love. How can you change that? That sucks, because now I need to find a new way to love you. And this frustrates the Mars in Virgo, but eventually the Mars in Virgo learns the ways of the changing, which can be a good thing. It's just that this person, in their usual life, they're not all that necessarily libidinal or lusty. Cancer can be lusty and libidinal, loves to be juicy, loves to be passionate and theatrical in a certain way, can even be dramatic in the wrong sense, especially because Mars in Virgo collects agitated energy when things don't go their way, when people change, when they change routine. This person can be a little bit curmudgeon-y in the sense of like wanting a routine, wanting you to stay the same way, to have the same interests so they can keep hitting you with it. But if another person has lots of earth in their chart and they are earthy and rhythmic, Mars in Virgo finds a rhythm to keep things interesting and burning, and it's a familiar rhythm. They're predictable, and they want to be loved for their predictability. They want to be loved for being the same old person, and I'm going to be there on Sunday waiting for you to watch our favorite football game or our favorite movie, and if you enjoy that, then you're going to enjoy this person. Everybody can be loved by somebody, Now, that was my personal rendition. Let's see what Erotic Astrology by Phyllis Vega has to say about Sun in Cancer with Mars in Virgo. People born under this Sun-Mars combination are romantic idealists who don't give away their hearts easily, and the intensity of your sexuality is closely connected to the depth of your feelings. This is a Mars in Virgo, which is watching very closely for markers of the intensity of their depth of their feelings for another person. It's because the Sun in Cancer uses Mars's intellection to get what it wants, and the Mars, the general here, is watching what the Sun, feels, because Sun in Cancer personality feels. And if this Sun in Cancer person doesn't feel all that deeply in love unconsciously with what the other person is, then the Mars in Virgo is going to reflect how hot and how sexy they can get for the person. They might not even want to be lusty and sexual all the time, but what does get them sexy and lusty is if they have fallen in love with the sentiment, the periphery around the sexual experience. Just loving that they love that movie, this favorite movie of yours, and they love it too, and you can watch it together. And when the Sun in Cancer goes and does whatever its job is, they just can't wait to get home to that favorite slice of apple pie in that movie that their friend loves being close. It's when they're close and together and the person says, "I love you." That's when the Sun in Cancer, Mars in Virgo starts to drift and starts to think we have seen this movie a lot. Is there any way that we can make it more interesting? You fear rejection and can be jealous and possessive of your beloved. Even so, in a committed relationship, you make a loyal, caring, and considerate partner. Passionate on one hand and tender on the other. You love to kiss and to cuddle and just to hang out with your lover. Passion on one hand, tender on the other. Passion really coming from that Cancer, and then the tenderness coming from Mars and Virgo. This sort of mute, almost not that sexual submissiveness in a way. Especially for a woman, this can be a very submissive personality. But even for a man, this might be a side of them that loves to just cuddle and just to hang out at a friendship level with your lover. And it's something that you shouldn't take if you are a man. You shouldn't take it to be a bad or an emasculating thing. Because when you get sexual, you still got a boner, and you got to penetrate and do the boner thing as a man who identifies as a man with these qualities. You don't have to think that you're an unsexed, unmasculine person. You will find somebody, if you keep your eyes open and look for the right things, who appreciates you for what you are. I hope you guys dug that. That was Sun in Cancer with Mars and Virgo. I'm Dustin Cormier with How to Rock Astrology. Feel free to let me know in the comments if you enjoyed it, if you thought it was sexy. I've always got more of this shit coming on. So keep your eye out for more videos and let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.